Hello out there. This is Sharon Froshin again, the Chief Operating Officer for the Discover Your Path U platform, where we believe that every life can teach and everyone can grow. I am also the host of this show, the Connection Sessions, in which we bring together practitioners, entrepreneurs, marketers, artists, spiritualists, mentors, and students to collectively learn from each other's best practices and to authentically create our own. Today, I am so excited to have with me a guy that I genuinely love. His name is Mike Sommer. He runs Life Force Conditioning and is a guy that, as you can see, is in ridiculously good shape after the age of 50. And he has taken a path from being a personal trainer and a bodybuilder into life coaching and to kind of balancing those two energies between the divine masculine of creating and growing and strengthening and the divine feminine of going deeper and trying to find out what's underneath everything. So Mike, thank you so much for being with me here today. And if you just wouldn't mind introducing yourself and sharing with us a little bit of your path.
Right on. Good morning, everyone. As Sharon said, my name is Mike Sommer. I live right now in beautiful Hot Springs, South Dakota, and I should say right now, I hope to stay here. I've had an interesting journey. Weightlifting has always been something that's interested me since high school, and I did a little bit there, and then it wasn't again until probably my 40s when I picked it up again. And that really started my journey of health and wellness and awareness of, what we eat, cause and effect kind of thing. And you add some divorces in there and moved several times. And there just needs to be a path, I think, especially for men to discover why things happen. Why do we act a certain way? Things happen, emotional things happen, they come up and we don't know how to deal with them. So I thought, well, let's look into this life coaching. And I kind of tossed it around for a couple of years and I thought, well, who the heck am I to offer anybody suggestions? But little did I know, it's not about me offering suggestions.
Yes.
It's about me helping to uncover and to understand. And that's kind of been the culmination of everything I've looked at and worked at is okay, things are happening to me, but why?
Yeah.
Is it my choice? Is it things I'm assuming? And I thought, well, what can I do to help others, especially men, in that realm? So, over the last 6 months here, that's kind of the tornado that's swirling is how do I take these things, fitness, weightlifting, or movement of any kind, nutrition, wellness, and throw some psychology in there, and what do we come up with? And I think it's the current model that I have for life force conditioning is all of those combined.
That's awesome. So my first interview here on this series was with a guy named Dave Gieselman, who calls himself the spiritual 2x4. And this guy is just a force of nature that just, kind of just comes into a room and throws everything up in the air. And one of the things that he talks about is how World War II, we lost an entire generation of men, and the men that did come back from that war were broken and then raised broken men who then went off to go into the next series of wars, which was Korea and Vietnam, and come back broken and raise yet another generation of men who don't understand how to be men because they're being raised by men who are they've just been scooped from the inside out between war and all of the expectations that are placed on them when they come home. And I love seeing men reach out to other men with a hand out saying, hey, this isn't the way we are. Let me show you a better way. And I love watching you and Dave and a lot of the other guys that I know, like Paul yesterday that I had on the show, who are genuinely invested in helping men become better men. So what is it about working with other men and helping them to step into that role that just has you so passionate? Because every time I'm spending time around you, man, you're just so bubbly and full of life, and I love watching it.
Oh, thank you. It's just reflection on my own path, and I guess I never really had a mentor to ask these questions to. So it was a lot of reading, a lot of learning,
Mm-hmm.
a ton of self-discovery, and then trying to work on and build a really solid foundation with my boys. I've got 4 boys, and they're all in their 20s, and it's been challenging because I wasn't always around. So trying to understand why the relationship is the way that it is, and I'm really trying to take some solid steps just through something as simple as communication.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all that they've asked for is, hey Dad, just communicate with us and let us know what's going on with you. um, and that's kind of where we're at, and it's good. It's building trust. It's establishing boundaries. It's letting them know that even though we're 6 hours apart, all they got to do is pick up their phone, and I'll be there. So
That's awesome. I also love the way, and you and your partner have recently opened a hot springs resort there in South Dakota called Moccasin Springs Resort, correct?
that's correct, and
And
that's Kara's baby. I'm just the get stuff done guy.
I love how supportive you are of her in that dream. So share with us what is it about this that you love? How does this tie into your workouts and into weightlifting? Just share it with us.
All right, this place it's amazing. It's built up from the ruins of an 1890 bathhouse, and
Wow.
there's some of that left combined with new construction,
Mm-hmm.
and there's over I want to say just about 63,000 gallons of water there, and it's free flowing, so there's no chemicals. It's all nature. So
Wow.
every Mondays and Tuesdays we're closed. So Monday we drain the pools, and we're in there raking out moss and using pressure washer, washing the walls down, steps down, and they're a little like snail-like creatures that are on the walls and on the floors, and it's just life. It's in a setting that's filled full of trees, surrounded by trees, and the water is the wonderful part. It's mineral rich. There's a lot of sodium, magnesium. There's some lithium in it that's very good for the body. And after a workout, man, there's nothing better than hopping into a hot pool, about 100 degrees, and just kind of soaking your cares away for about half an hour.
Yeah.
Many people have used these waters over decades and decades to heal themselves. And while we can't say they're healing waters, other people say that for the water. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just another dynamic in self-care and taking care of yourself. And it's not just a place for the ladies to go. I mean, they offer spa services. There's massage there. There's a beautiful yoga studio, and it's just being able to listen to your body, your spirit, and try different things. And yoga is amazing. Combine that with weightlifting. Come on,
Yeah.
dude. Oh my
Right.
God. It's fantastic because when you lift, you're shortening your range of motion because you're contracting your muscles all the time. When you do yoga, you're doing the opposite. You're holding poses. So there's some isometric work there. You're lengthening because you're stretching. And you really get that time to tune into your body and really listen to it and find out what it needs. And it's a wonderful pairing. So I'm very proud to be a part of it and do what I do to help make it go and support Kara in her endeavors. Absolutely.
I love watching the posts of the metal work that you're doing yourself, actually, for
Oh,
the resort, correct?
yeah.
Share with us a little bit about that, about how you got into metalworking and why you love it so much.
That was I was in the auto body world for over 35 years, and finally was able to hang up my hammer from that, and just kind of I didn't really know what was next to keep me busy, and I've always kind of wanted to work with wood. I come from a woodworking family, but somewhere along the line I took a sharp left and said, oh, let's work with metal. So there just through discussion, Kara said one day, she says, well, can you do this? And I said, sure, why not? And knowing what she wanted, you know, that was about a half truth. The other part of me is going, okay, how do I bend metal like that? So I
Wow.
hopped and got a quick education. And I've always worked with heat and metal in the body shop. Sometimes you got to heat metal to move it. You got to heat it to straighten it. And I thought, well, let's try this. Let's give it a go. So the equipment I had to build a forge. So I built that and just started around, and it's pretty fun, actually. It's pretty cool. It's a nice outlet for the creative side. Plus I get to do welding, which I've always liked. So we've got some more to build. So we're about half done.
That is sweet. So I love how easily this fits into life coaching, the statement that you have to heat metal up to get it to move. Because
Right on.
so
Yeah.
often especially when we have clients that come to us who are like, why is this happening to me? They fail to understand that until you're softened, it's really hard to either move into what you were supposed to become or to unbecome, like most sculptors do with a block of rock. They're basically taking away from that block what shouldn't be there to reveal what is at the core. So how do you use this principle of needing to soften metal to move it in your life coaching?
I think there's a new tagline.
Hey,
Right on.
I don't think you're going to beat hashtag poop in a group, though. That one was just fantastic.
That's right. That is a good one too. It's you really have to become vulnerable
Yeah,
to break walls down and to take that damn scary journey into yourself
yeah,
and take a look. And man, that is extremely uncomfortable. Um,
yeah, it is.
it took a long time, and with the help of others, for me to really understand a pattern that I had, and to be very consciously aware of that, which then affects every other aspect of your life because you're awake.
Yeah,
Once you become aware, then life doesn't really happen to you. I mean, things still happen, but hopefully through the journey, you can see things a little more clear, and you can see things coming, sometimes based on our own actions. And that's a hard pill to swallow. You know, it's,
yes,
we hear the phrase, well, why don't you, they're not very responsible. Well, that's a big word
yeah,
for any individual in life. And I think with the coaching, and I know it's funny on the form, there was a spot for me to put what's my title, and that was the last question I answered because I wanted to come up with some cool new phrase for it.
uh-huh.
um, I did not write coach, and I'll tell you why. I thought back to when I was in school and I was in sports,
Yeah,
and when there was maybe something that I needed help with, say in football, with some blocking drill or something.
yeah,
I'd go to my coach, and one of two of them would tell me. Conversely, if I was doing something that they saw that was like, whoa, dude, stop that, they'd pull me aside and tell me.
hmm,
It wasn't very often that it was kind of put back in my lap. Well, geez, Mike, what do you think you're doing wrong?
yeah,
Because that really would have been a whole different outcome. So I thought, well, what can I use to describe what the ultimate goal is for me? And facilitator really came to mind. It would be kind of the same thing as a conduit, maybe. So
yeah.
I thought, well, facilitator works. It's kind of hard to say, but because I don't have all the answers,
Yeah,
and I will never profess that I do. I do, however, have the desire, if the other person does, to find out what the what the underlying issue is, where the things are coming from. And then together, we put a plan together and move forward. And I thought, that's kind of this whole thing in a nutshell. The thing we call life is trying to cut through the BS, get down to the root, and go from there. And I like that. I had a great discussion with a coworker yesterday, and he's going through some things and had some reactions and did not understand where they came from. He became very short, and just his walls went up, boom, instantly. And through him being able to just deal with it himself for about 24 hours and then come back and say, okay, I didn't know where that came from when it happened, but after some reflection, I think I do. And I think as a guy, we need the time to do that. I remember reading the book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I got to go in my cave, man. Just let me go in my cave, shut the door, let me stew in there for whatever time it takes. And when I open the door to come out, number one, I'll be calmed down. Number two, I'll really had some time to think without any input, without any outside distraction, outside voice. And then I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to look at it as something to overcome instead of being something to react to. And I just think as a guy, not everyone's taught that.
No.
So
no. And I loved that about you, that I actually met you and came in contact with you while you were doing the Ditch the Diets, Face the Feelings panel in the Nourish group that Beth Gray and Sarah Whalen run. And here was this guy who was obviously, you're very fit, you're very machismo, you're very what you would typically expect a man to look like. And yet you were so incredibly comfortable around this group of women. And I remember that really caught my eye, because most of the guys I know, and I realize, guys, for everybody out there watching, that I'm showing you my own bias against what is a typical male gender role and what is a typical female gender role. But most of the guys that I know that take the pride in their body that you do are not always all that comfortable around women. And it was just knowing the women the way I do, knowing Sarah and Beth the way that I do, you have to be a powerful man to be comfortable around these women, because these are two incredibly powerful women.
Oh,
so
for sure.
It was just so awesome to watch you and to see that here was a man that I would typically just look at and think, oh, he's a chauvinist or he's a misogynist, just because I have my own biases, and see you, without even ever speaking to me, just completely prove me wrong. And I loved that. So how do you play on that, and how are you so comfortable around women?
Thanks, Mom.
Right?
My mom is very strong, and there was a lot of lessons learned from her. Absolutely. My dad worked his ass off, and he just, the time available really was not there. So, it was always go to Mom for things, and that's really where it's come from. Conversely, two grandmothers who were pretty strong.
Wow.
So, it's just something that I was very fortunate enough to be raised around. And I shouldn't say I've never been uncomfortable, because that's not accurate. I would say probably in my 40s, when this journey started, was when that really started to change. And just like I said earlier, creating the awareness and okay, how am I acting around people?
Yeah.
How do I come across to people? And I just did a little video on this on my Life Force page on Facebook. I think might have been last week, on being your authentic self, and why if you act a certain way with some people and a certain way with others. Well, why is that?
Yeah.
Are you being you? Who are they getting today?
Yeah.
So I've really worked hard to be Mike pretty much all the time, and sometimes I'm very quiet. I observe. Sometimes I withdraw and can look like I'm just mad at the world, man. But I'm not. I'm just thinking about stuff and okay, how do I make this work? How do I pull this off? And other times I'm very outgoing and I can be jokey and goofy and it's kind of me all at the same time. So I think to enable others to do that and still wear their I'm a guy badge,
Mhm.
that's kind of my mission. So
I love it. See, I was
uh,
also raised by an extremely strong woman. My mother she's beyond strong. She's just a dynamo. She just gets something in her head and she goes and does it. And my dad, on the other hand, is this amazingly, not soft as in weak, but soft as an approachable man who told me pretty much every day of my life that he loved me and that I could do anything I wanted to do, anything I put my mind to. And it was never anything you want to for a girl. It was, you can just be anything you
sure.
want to. And so there's a part of me that has always associated men more with the feminine aspect and women
Oh,
more with the masculine, or energy, I should say. And
sure.
so I'm always drawn to men who are comfortable around other women, because my father is that kind of man who he can sit in a room full of 50 women and be just as comfortable there as he could, sitting on the deck of a destroyer, a Navy destroyer in Vietnam. He's just that kind of guy. So if you were to counsel a man on how he can work on becoming that kind of comfortable, where he's presenting the same self to the women that he's with as well as to the men, what's some of the advice that you would give?
Wow, great question. The first thing that popped in my head was um, I think society has really done a disservice to the relationship between male and female.
Yes.
So, I mean, I can open my Instagram page now and I'm seeing TNA all over the fitness pages.
Yeah.
I'm like, is that really necessary?
No.
But that's the direction that things have gone. So I would say the first thing for a man, quit looking at women as a sex object.
Yeah.
They're a human being just like you. Uh, that's the biggest stumbling block to me. Um,
And what's funny to hear you say that is our society seems to generally and without question embrace the idea that men are pigs and that men are incapable of having a relationship with a woman that doesn't involve him scoping her out and how long is it going to take me to get into her pants. And as a gay woman, I can say that I do that too. I have been guilty of that in my own life and in my own relationships, of seeing a woman that I find attractive, and if I don't rein that in, I can treat a woman like an object just as much as a man can. And I think it's a mindset more than it is a gender. And I
yep,
really appreciate you saying that, not to treat women like objects, but anybody who's attracted to women, don't treat them like objects, not just a man.
sure.
And I love the way that you're standing up for men, but not in that blind way of everything you do is wonderful. You're acknowledging that there are things that men do that aren't acceptable, and
Sure.
that ability to see both sides of that story is just beautiful to me, Michael. I love that about you.
Awesome. I've done those things, you
Yeah.
know, and I don't want to be that guy anymore. And it's once you're able to recognize that, man, everything changes.
Sure
Everything
does.
changes because then you can have an honest relationship based on mutual respect. And if it's meant to happen, if it's meant to grow, it'll be real love.
Yeah.
The physical aspect, it's always part of it, but it shouldn't be up here anymore. You
Yes.
know? So that's probably the biggest one. And then just, I'm gazing out over the surroundings here, and it's very inspiring to know that where I'm at right now, physically on the globe, and everything that's happened in my life up to this point. Holy shit, I'm gonna get emotional. Wow. A lot of things have sucked,
Yeah.
but once you're able to look inside,
Mm-hmm.
and let that person come out, holy shit, everything changes.
Doesn't it, dude? I can't tell you how proud of you I am right now. Like, I can't. I just respect the hell out of you, man.
It feels good to be Mike right now.
Yeah. Wow. I am so honored to see you just truly be you. This is the kind of stuff I live for, dude.
Shit.
Honestly. Just I love it when people are this authentic and this raw and this real, because this is how we change other people's lives as life coaches and compassionate care professionals, not being somebody else, not
Right.
being society's version of a man or a woman, but just being
Yep.
us.
Yep, 100%.
Wow. Well, Mike,
people will know if you're not authentic. They'll
yes,
sniff out immediately.
they will.
Why do you want to live that? Why do you want to live there? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. Not for very long.
Yes. Well, Mike, I wish I could thank you. I don't think I have the sufficient words to thank you for coming on this show with me today. It's amazing. And for those of you that are watching, what you just witnessed is exactly why Discover Your Path You exists. To teach you, to encourage you, to inspire you to be you right here, right now, in every moment with whatever client you have, because that is where the magic is, in being us. There is not a mistake that you are here. It is not a mistake that you are who you are. And just bringing that to the table like you just did, Mike, that's what changes people's lives. So if you are a man who is struggling with understanding, how do I get comfortable with women? For the love of God, this is the man to connect with. Please connect with Michael, connect with Dave Gieselman, connect with Paul Leslie, connect with these men who are working on themselves and who are demonstrating with their behavior and with their choices that women matter. This is what feminism looks like, not being angry at any specific gender, but embracing everything that comes up when it comes up. So Michael, thank you so freaking much for being on this interview with me. If you're interested in getting a hold of Michael, all of his contact information is actually on this Facebook Live. He will also be on our YouTube channel as well as on our podcast. If you want to get a hold of him, I could not encourage you more to do so. Thank you so much for being with us here. Any parting words?
I've got pages out there. Sharon's got links. I'm still building my platform to do all this, but by all means, reach out. It's probably going to be a winter launch time before I really have my ducks in a row. I'm just so busy with working outside right now. But if you truly would like, go ahead and reach out, and I will do my damn best to connect and visit.
Yes. Well, again, Michael, thank you. Thank you to all of our viewers, Andrea, Michelle. Hey, Michelle, haven't seen you in a while. I nominate Michelle, Sarah Whalen, Sharon Greenlaw, and Monique. If you catch this after we've gone live, please leave us a hashtag replay just to let us know that you came in and you saw. And if you have any questions about what you saw today, please contact Michael at the information that he provided. Thank you so much, guys. And as always, love you. Bye-bye, guys.
See ya.